Hello and welcome to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. I'm Finn McDermott and here are your top stories on Friday, the 20th of February. Reform, restore, recycle. New hard right party takes 7 expelled Reform councillors.
You know, I'm still the same person. I'm still representing the core values of what I believe in and what my residents believe in.
Bus bust up, whose service could see less rides because of potential nearby development plans.
Cutting the service would make it even worse, especially for pensioners, because a lot of them don't drive.
And Perfect Patties, Tunbridge Wells restaurant in the running to be crowned country's best burger.
It's incredible. It's not where I expected to be, but I think 4 years of hard work has got us here.
But first, for our top story tonight, and it's another busy week at Kent County Council, as several ex-Reform councillors have joined the hard right party Restore Britain. Founded by the Great Yarmouth MP Rupert Lowe, the party is further right than Reform, with the governing KCC party labelling them as having a very low bar for defections. But what could a Restore councillor mean for you? Our reporter Megan Shaw has been finding out.
Nothing's really changed apart from my political allegiance.
Unlikely words, perhaps, from a councillor joining a new party. This time, Restore Britain. The child of Great Yarmouth MP Rupert Lowe, Restore Britain sits itself further right than Reform UK, and last week took in a flurry of Kent's councillors. But if this is one of your representatives, what could it mean for you?
I don't believe that things have actually changed. My political party has changed. And I feel that I'm now with a party that actually will support me and listen to me, and I will feel valued. But everything else is still business as usual.
The Restore faction at KCC is made up of Maxine Fothergill, Robert Ford, Paul Thomas, Dean Burns, Isabella Kemp, Brian Black and Oliver Bradshaw.
That puts them now as the second largest opposition group, overtaking the Tories. But what do the opposition think? Well, I went to ask them.
They are a hard right party, and there are things that Rupert Lowe has said particularly that are very close to being racist. And that is not the way that I believe our politics should go. We are better together, we are stronger together.
I don't see them as a threat at all. The situation as far as the Conservatives are concerned, it's up to us now to continue to build our membership.
I'm not surprised because the leadership is very chaotic. The leader of the council doesn't listen to anybody. So if you get voted in and you want to represent your residents and you want to share their views, you want people to listen.
The circus at Kent County Council goes on and on with backstabbing, squabbling, plotting, scheming, and this is the latest version. It's just, it's disappointing for those people that voted in the May 2024 elections, thinking they were getting one thing, but now apparently they're getting something else.
We asked if Reform UK wanted to speak to us, but they sent us this statement instead. 6 of these councillors were expelled from Reform for dishonesty and deceptive behaviour. Restore clearly have a very low bar for defections. Restore toes a risky line, as another hard-right party, Alliance UK, has been backed by convicted criminal and far-right activist Tommy Robinson, and its leader said it would consider a merger in the future. Is this something Restore's councillors are happy to align themselves with?
I support my local residents. To me, it's about the local issues, and that's why I was voted in. What the party chooses to do, or the way that things actually pan out, is really beyond my pay grade. I'm here to support my local residents, and that's what matters to me.
Megan Shaw, KMTV.
And in some breaking political news now, a Kent County councillor has been imprisoned for 12 months after admitting to controlling and coercive behaviour over his wife. The former Reform councillor Daniel Taylor was sentenced at Margate Magistrates Court, and because of this will lose his council seat, triggering a by-election in Cliftonville. Joining me now to discuss this further is our reporter Megan Shaw. So Megan, tell me a bit about this case. Where did it begin?
Of course, so as you just said there today, we heard that Daniel Taylor had been sentenced today at Margate Magistrates Court. This started a year ago. So last year, Taylor was suspended from Reform. Just after a month, he was elected. So he wasn't a Reform councillor for very long at Cliftonville. And he was expelled from the party after he pleaded guilty to the charges earlier in the trial, which were obviously controlling behaviour and coercion towards his wife, which started back in 2014. According to friends, he would constantly put his wife down and accuse her of cheating, as well as going through her phone, isolating her from her friends, and telling her she was unwell when she accused him of controlling behaviour.
I see. We haven't got much time left, but briefly, tell us what this means for Reform.
Of course, well, triggering a by-election means that that seat there in Cliftonville is up for all parties, so it might not still be a Reform seat there, so there are other parties campaigning, such as the Greens or the Liberal Democrats. It could be a shaky foundation there for Reform UK.
I see. Thank you so much for your time, Megan. Next, a man has been arrested after being caught with £12,000 worth of drugs in Dymchurch. Sami Hanbali was caught by police as he sold cocaine in a car park and was found to be in possession of a 6-ounce brick of the substance. Inquiries revealed that Hanbali was staying in a guest house at that time, and during a search of his room, officers found £26,000 in cash in a safe. He was subsequently charged with possession of cocaine with intent to supply and money laundering, and the following month was sentenced to 36 months in prison. Local businesses and residents in Canterbury are now facing weeks out of their properties after a fire at a cinema has left the building officially unsafe. The Odeon Cinema in Canterbury has been ruled a dangerous structure by the council after the site was engulfed in flames shortly after 2 p.m. on the 14th of February. The council has served a legal notice saying urgent work is needed, which would mean it would be demolished. Until then, all businesses and residents near the structure have been advised not to return to any nearby buildings. Next, Joe Bennett from Folkestone is the son of Lindsay Foreman, who, along with her partner Craig, has been imprisoned for 10 years in Iran. The couple were arrested in the country on espionage charges in January of last year while travelling on a motorbike journey before the sentence was passed. I spoke to Joe Bennett about exactly what this means for his family earlier. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Joe. First of all, can you just speak to the emotions that you're currently feeling about the situation with your parents in Iran?
Doing a lot of media coverage yesterday, and that's really good to get their message out. But it also is very hard to deal with emotions whilst doing that. And I suppose it really hit me quite heavily last night once everything had slowed down. And, you know, in my own mind, I had time to really try to process what's going on. Listen, shock, devastation, raw emotion that some of them, I don't even know what I would call it, right? It's like a mixture between anger and disbelief and, you know, it's all sorts of things going on. A lot of emotions, a lot of wavering emotions, but ultimately, yeah, I think one where we want to sort of refocus and firm up that focus.
I see. This is an issue that for you presents a lot of issues when it comes to bureaucracy and red tape and international relations. If you could get everyone you needed to get who this decision is up to in a room, what would you tell them?
Great question. I think, you know, firstly, that innocence should prevail. You know, the way that the system's set up at the moment does not fill me with confidence that peace is on the agenda. And I think that if that is truly what people want and that we are looking as a global society to move forward, then you can start by doing the really simple things and the really easy things. And that, you know, as I say, would be where I'd start, is that my parents aren't the only political prisoners that they hold. I can't speak for their innocence on all of them because I don't know them individually, but there are no question marks over my parents' innocence. And as I say, if peace is the goal, then let's start with doing the right thing and releasing innocent people.
I see. And when your parents were first detained, did you think that more than 400 days would pass and you'd now be at this point? Was that something that ever crossed your mind?
No, not in the beginning. when we first heard, or when it first went quiet, and we first heard that they had been detained, naturally we thought, well, they've done nothing wrong. They'll be held for a couple of days. It might be something to do with their leaving the country, going to Pakistan, something to do with their passports. You just sort of logical reasonings as to why people get held up. Reality was, we could be at this for a little while. This could go on 4 years. And it still hurts. I mean, it's been 14 months since I've seen, my mum, longer than that because it was December. And that's reality now. It's been 14 months, right? So these timescales are starting to materialise. And again, you'd like to think that the 10-year sentence is just a number, and history suggests and other accounts suggest that it is. But, 10 years it hits hard, and it's a tough thing to try and get your head around, that could even be a reality.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Joe.
No problem.
Well, you've been watching Kent Tonight here on KMTV. We're about to go into a break, but we've got more coming up, including a look at this week's sports news. We'll hear from Gillingham's manager on their comments about their losses at Crewe and Chesterfield. We'll also be taking a trip down to Tunbridge Wells to see the National Burger Awards. They might be up for it. All that and more after this short break. Hello and welcome back to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. Now, residents in Who have hit back at plans from a developer that would see buses diverted from the town centre. Taylor Wimpey say it will secure the future of local services, but opposition say it's just about getting 450 homes approved on the peninsula. Our local democracy reporter Ollie Leader has been finding out what this will mean for those in the area.
It's the main bus link between Who and Chatham, but under proposed plans for 450 new homes, 191 services could become a lot less frequent.
If Taylor Wimpey's proposals went ahead, it would mean one bus per hour would be diverted away from the town centre. Locals here say that's not good enough.
Well, I mean, the bus service is so shocking anyway that anything that's going to impact that has to be thought about. I mean, I'm not anti-new development, but there's got to be the infrastructure there.
Cutting the service would make it even worse, especially for pensioners, because a lot of them don't drive. They don't have the means to get out of the village. So cutting that service would be even worse, and it's going to be even worse with more houses here.
Plans for the development were previously rejected by the planning inspector and local planning authority, in part due to a lack of bus connectivity. Critics here say the proposed diversion is a cynical way to get the plans approved. But a Taylor Wimpey spokesperson says that the proposed changes will strengthen the existing service by bringing additional passengers to the route and will help to improve long-term viability of local bus services. The development has not yet been given the green light. Getting everyone on board with the changes will be tricky. Ollie Leader in Who.
And now it's time to catch up with all your latest sporting news from across the county. First, after back-to-back defeats at Crewe and Chesterfield, the Gillingham manager Gareth Ainsworth has commented on his hopes for promotion and the worries of the season fizzling out. He said, "We'll pick ourselves up. It can change really quickly this game, but I'm not about to say. We're definitely going to get to the playoffs." The Gills' next three fixtures are up against Oldham, Barrow and Fleetwood, which could give the team a much-needed chance to rack up points. But Ainsworth points out it's important not to put pressure on the players. Next, Maidstone United's manager George Elokobi is preparing the team for their match against Dorking Wanderers on Saturday. He said when that game comes, they'll know everything they need to know about Dorking. The Wanderers stand firm at the top of the National League South after beating Hornchurch on Tuesday and continuing their winning streak. Elokobi has congratulated Dorking's consistency, saying they're league leaders by right. The Stones' last bout with Dorking ended in a 3-1 loss, but despite that, Elokobi is still optimistic and believes the Wanderers have weaknesses they can exploit. Dover's Jake Dixon has undergone surgery after fracturing his left wrist in a testing race for the Superbikes World Championship race in Australia. Dixon updated fans on Instagram from his hospital bed, saying the last couple of days have been super stressful. Unfortunately, this isn't the first time Dixon has injured himself in practice, with his previous high-speed crash in 2024 before Moto2's Qatar Grand Prix. Thankfully, the surgery was a success and he is on the mend. As he was quoted, "I promise you I'm going to be back better than ever and we're going to be on top." And finally, Whitstable's Jacob Clark-Jones has become a national champion, winning the hurdles event at the Under-15 Boys England Open Indoor Championships. The 14-year-old got a personal best at the event with a time of 8:30 seconds, beating second place's Harrison McConnell by 0.17 seconds. Jacob trains at the Canterbury-based Invicta East Kent Athletics Club and is trained by his coaches Alex Pope and Brian Hopkins. Clark-Jones is expected to attend the English Schools Athletic Association Track and Field Championships in Birmingham this July. And that's all for your sports news. For our other sports news and other stories in general, you can take a look at our website, kmtv.co.uk, where you can see some stories like this one.
They're being called giant killers. Chatham Town women play in the 4th tier in the South East Division of the National League. But throughout the FA Cup, they've been beating much bigger opponents like York City, Exeter City and AFC Wimbledon. But this weekend they'll have to contend with their biggest challenge yet. Booking a spot in the quarter-finals means facing off against Birmingham City Women's on their home turf, the St Andrews Stadium.
We just got to go and get that mentality right and just go in there with the right mindset. I feel like we are ready. Playing on the Saturday might be a little bit different for us, but I feel like it might be a good sense for us. So yeah, I feel like we're ready.
For the most part, it is just going to be any other game, and then I think if we can calm any nerves and just make sure that it is as normal as every other Sunday is for us, then I think that's the best chance of putting us in.
Keith Bonus is no stranger to silverware. He led Charlton Ladies to 2 Women's Premier League Cups and the FA Cup itself.
Yeah, it's been over 20 years since I picked that baby up. Obviously, it would be a dream to pick it up again, but we're being realistic. You know, this week, if we're honest, is equivalent to a cup final for us, and we're approaching it with that kind of mentality.
After the conference, training began and the buzz around the club could be felt in the air. The Chats absolutely dominated the early rounds of the tournament, with some strong performances coming from their keeper, who saved some crucial penalties when they went up against Exeter City.
I always say I feel like you've got a big goal to shoot in as a striker, but you know, sometimes you've got to try and get in their heads, see what they've done in the past, see where they're looking at now. I always say just go for it, because I don't really think it's in the keeper's favour.
The squad also features 2 identical twins who play at either end of the pitch and who both scored a hat-trick in the 12-0 thrashing of Horsham that put them into the first round.
I mean, I feel like I just kick a ball and she's at the other end of it, so it's just always there in the right positions. Yeah, we're always told we know where each other are, so since younger as well, and it's just carried on.
Well, here it is, the FA Cup, the top prize. It's what the Chats have been gunning for throughout the qualifying rounds and now through the first, second and third rounds. But this is the deal breaker. This is the one. They will be heading up to Birmingham to see if they can beat the Blues and get one step closer to the trophy. It might be physically close to them now, but they are getting ever closer with every single win. And while they're off in Birmingham, back home here in Kent, the whole county will be rooting for them. Finn McDermott for KMTV in Chatham. And now it's time for the weather. Taking a look later tonight, there is light rain blanketing the county with temperatures sitting at 10 degrees across the board and winds around 17 miles per hour. Heading into tomorrow morning, that rain letting up with some sunny spells peeking through. Temperatures being around the same, winds lowering a little into tomorrow evening. Some drizzle there coming back over Kent, but rising the slightest bit to around 11 degrees. And here's your outlook. Sunday continuing that rain, getting slightly colder on Monday 11 and Tuesday is hitting 12 degrees. Now, a pub landlord near Ashford has bought himself a black taxi cab to offer free taxi rides home for customers. Paul Hartfield, the landlord of the Flying Horse in Smarden, has been offering his customers free taxi rides home as long as they live within 3 miles of the pub. The service, which began since November of last year, doesn't make any profit, but passengers are encouraged to make donations to charity. Mr. Hartfield has said, "I bought it especially for the pub. I know cabs. This pub has done a lot for charity and we have some great customers in the village." Next, a restaurant in Tunbridge Wells is up for a national award for their burgers. Roddy Burger is down to the last 16 restaurants across the country in the National Burger Awards. And next month they'll face off at the live final, competing for the title of the best burger in the country. Chloe Brewster headed down to learn how to make the competing dish and got to try it for herself.
What does it take to be a burger champion? Richard from Tunbridge Wells knows it all too well. Last year, his business Roddy Burger came second in the National Burger Awards, but this time around, he's going for gold.
Yeah, so we started during lockdown. We rented a pub kitchen. It was very much something to do to cover my mortgage effectively. And that went so well that we then, when we came out of lockdown, we rented another pub kitchen and that went really well. And then we opened here nearly 4 years ago. We've just got busier and busier year on year, month on month. The community support us really well here. Without them, we're nothing. So it's kind of testament to what we do that people keep coming back.
Richard is one of 16 finalists to make it to the National Burger Awards this year, and there they will face off to see who can create the best burger.
We've put the same burger in as last year. We've made a few small tweaks to it. It's called the Gazza, named after England footballer Paul Gascoigne, who scored my favourite goal. And yeah, fingers crossed.
Richard gave me a peek at how he makes his signature burger.
So the Gaza starts off life with a toasted demi-brioche bun and then our signature house sauce, which is like a super delicious pimped up version of Big Mac sauce. So for the Gaza, we smash 2 patties into the grill, season with Maldon sea salt, with 2 rashers of smoked streaky bacon, and then we sandwich the bacon in between and then cover it with a cloche so that the cheese melts quickly rather than overcooking the burger. And then we have a bit more sauce on the top, and then we pickle our own onions. And there you go.
The live final takes place next month, where participants will cook up their best in 3 rounds before being blind tested. I gave it a try myself.
Let's give it a go.
While my burger eating skills are clearly not award-winning, I'm wishing Roddy Burger the best of luck at next month's final. Chloe Brewster for KMTV in Tunbridge Wells.
You've been watching Kent Tonight live on KMTV, and there's more news made just for Kent throughout the evening. And don't forget, you can always keep up to date with the latest news across your county by logging on to KMTV.